The Heart of Art is sponsored in part by the Texas A&M University Art Galleries, which includes the Stark and Forsyth Galleries located inside the MSC. The galleries provide a variety of opportunities to experience art exhibitions, events, and hands-on activities. More information at uart.tamu.edu. The Heart of Art is brought to you by the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts at Texas A&M University, bringing innovative and culturally diverse visual and performing arts programming to Texas A&M University and the Brazos Valley. The Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts fosters the creativity of our community via the transformative power of the arts.
The Heart of Art, scoping the Brazos Valley for the best artists and bringing them to your radio. Howdy, Eggland, and welcome back to the KME Studios. My name is Hector Nino, and you're listening to The Heart of Art. Today in the studios, we have an extra special show planned for you. As you may know, this month is Black History Month, and what better way to celebrate it than with a little bit of gospel music? And here to take us to church is Gloria Cooks herself. She is a gospel singer, as well as host of her radio show, Paradise Gospel Express, that airs on KAGC's 1510 AM and 97.3 FM. Sundays at 1 p.m. And this show has been ongoing for 35 years now.
Exactly.
Yeah, amazing. She also hosts her own TV show, Gloria Cooks Gospel TV Show, and that airs on Cable 11, Sundays at 8:30 a.m. She is also a very decorated person with Lifetime Achievement Award in 2018, Gospel Music Legendary 2019, and recently in 2022, she was voted Top Influential Woman in the 180 Enterprise Mag. She is also a member of the Gospel Music Workshop of America, traveling all around the nation for them.
Yes.
And is also a manager of Twins and Friends, who is a local gospel group. And we will be listening to them right after this conversation. All right, so I think that's the intro. It was a long one, long-winded.
Yes.
But how are you today, Gloria?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I am so excited for this conversation.
Yes.
I mean, you are such an experienced singer and speaker. I was wondering, has your love for gospel music allowed for all these accomplishments, or has it been your need to spread God's message?
Well, I would say both. Definitely, I love it. I couldn't have done it, especially this long, if I didn't love it. But yes, I love the gospel music. It started at a very young age. Right. As I've heard so many gospel singers, artists say, I started in church at a young age, the Little Angel Choir, and went on to the senior choir. Right. But yes, I love gospel music, and I did decide eventually, after I realized that truly I had a calling to go ahead and spread the gospel. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been doing for all these years, 40 plus.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, so gospel music and that message just come hand in hand for you then.
Yes, it did. Yes.
All right, well, I want to go a little bit into your background and see where that love for gospel was born. So where are you from, and where did this love start?
I was born, raised right here.
Oh, really?
In Bryan, Texas.
Okay, great.
I think I was probably born in Wixon Creek or something, but that's really a part of Bryan. Right. And so I've been here all my life. My husband and I left for just a little while when he was in the service, and we went to Oklahoma, and we stayed there for a little while. And when his time was up, our time was up. We came back home. So I married a homeboy too. He's from Bryan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, and we went to school together and high school together and all of that. And that's where we kind of hooked up.
Right. Okay.
In high school. We've been here all of our lives.
Okay. And did you have any teachers in the church growing up? Any special teachers that taught you how to sing, or did it just come naturally?
It was natural. It was a gift. It's a talent and a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God. Well, my mom sang. Then I had an aunt in the family that sang. They church choir singers and all of that. They never did pursue musical careers or anything, but they did sing, and they sang very well. Right. So I would say that I hooked up the talent from them.
Mm-hmm. And did you have any gospel inspirations early on? Any groups that you would listen to?
Well, And of course, at the time when I first began, it was mostly the traditional groups, which are now legendary groups. That was back in the day. And one of the things I can say that with my various groups that we've sang on the stage with most of those legends back in that day of many of them gospel, my favorites, the Williams Brothers and the gospel Jackson Southerners and Shirley Caesar, and those were, of course, they're traditional now. They're up age, but we sang with most of all of them. Mighty Clouds of Joy, we even sang with, my girls were just twins. They even sang with Kurt Franklin. I know you may be familiar with Kurt Franklin. Okay, so yes, we've even sang on stage with him.
Wow.
And so we've had a pretty interesting, exciting career.
Right. I mean, and you've dedicated your whole life to this, really.
My whole life.
What was the point that you knew that you wanted to do this for life? Was there a point like that?
Early on, very early. As I said, I started singing in my church choir. And then, of course, I was so inspired by gospel groups that was in the area at that time singing. And eventually I realized this is what I want to do. And so I did organize my first group. And it was back in the early 80s. And we were called the Voices of Hope. And we sang for a while, and then it was another group, the Voices, the Anointed Gospelaires. And from that group, that's when I formed my first Anointed Angels group, which was young kids. And most of those, the parents was a part of the Anointed Gospelaires. But it all just started years ago, and the flow just continued.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had your radio show now for 35 plus years.
Yes.
I mean, I'm wondering what events led to you having your own show there?
Well, it like I said, it's all about gospel music. I love gospel music. And so I first began, it was a gentleman in our area, a pastor. He became a bishop, and he invited me to help him on his show. It basically he was an announcer, Gilmore's Spiritual Hour, and he invited me to come and help him with the announcements and so forth on his show. And so it was something, of course, I love gospel music. He knew that. I'd been singing for years, so I did that for maybe a couple of years. And so that was my start. And so when he didn't no longer need my services, I'm like, now this is something I really want to do. So, I'm like, Lord, and I knew, of course, I didn't go to school for it or anything, but I knew that I could do it. I knew it because that gift was there. So I went and talked to Bob and Judy Bell, and they at that time owned KAGC Radio. And I just went and talked to them. I just prayed about it, went in, took a chance, as they call it. It was, like I said, it was predestined. Yeah. And so they called me back and said, Gloria, would you like to come in? And I didn't know at that time, but they were a new radio station. They were they hadn't been in service for maybe about 2 years. So they were new. But I went in and I talked to them, and they hired me on to do the gospel show on KAGC. Oh. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. When I first started, I thought, because it's a Christian family radio station, so they played Christian music. I wanted to do gospel, so I come in, but my first idea was, okay, now I'm going on this Christian radio station, so I'm going to have to come up with some Christian music, some gospel music, some all. And to my surprise, Judy called me in, and she said, Gloria, she said, listen, we have Christian music going every day, and we really love gospel music. We love that music that you're playing, gospel. So she said, don't worry about playing the other music, just play gospel. Right. And so I said, okay. And so I did. I just started playing gospel. And when she would be there, because they were connected, the house was connected to the station. And sometime I'd be playing the gospel music, and Judy would just come through just a dancing, So they really did enjoy it. Wow. So, yeah, that's just a little, little story.
I mean, that's interesting that you mentioned Christian music and gospel music. And I was wondering, what is the difference between the two? What does gospel music have that Christian music doesn't?
No, they both have the same thing.
Oh, they do?
But it's just that the Christian music is more, I guess you would say, the white music, or it's sang by the other races, mostly like what is that? The Grant, Amy Grant. It's good music, but it's just that the gospel music is mostly like black artists.
Right.
We do the black gospel artists, but of course we do it all too. But that's the difference, though.
Wow. Okay.
It's a little different in the genres. That's all.
Okay, so just an ethnic thing.
Right.
Gospel music is for Black people.
Well, we won't say it's for Black people because it's changed.
Right.
Now, you have artists, Christian artists that's doing gospel, and you have gospel artists that's doing Christian music. B.B. Winans and all of them, they're more like doing the Christian music type music. The gospel has like a traditional upbeat tempo type of thing. It's just a little more groove to it.
Right.
But we have a lot of artists, the Christian artists, that sing gospel as well. So we cannot just say, well, it's just for us, Black or whatever. But that's just basically, the genre of it.
Yeah, I mean, gospel traditionally, came about in African American churches. So
Right.
I can imagine that it's definitely a cultural specific
Definitely.
thing. Right.
Definitely. It is cultural. Yes. Yes, I'll agree with that one.
Yes.
Because as we we talked about earlier, we depended on that. Gospel music was what took us through some of those trials and some of those tribulations that we went through back in the day. And of course, it has just came on down to today, and we have traditional gospel music, contemporary, and we have urban, which is getting a little bit more off into more of the hip hoppy R&B styles. But we're still doing our gospel traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the upbeat, and definitely when I think of gospel music, it's like get up and dance type of music, right?
Exactly.
I'm wondering if there's any like specific instruments that are used in gospel music, or I mean, is that a thing? Are there any specific instruments?
Well, I tell you what, these days, these musicians pull out everything.
Oh.
Yes, it's different. The music is a little bit different, but more drum beats, louder. I can tell you that for sure, because I have noticed, even back in the day, there was a gentleman that was here. He's somewhere else now, but his name was Don Pope, and he played the saxophone. And at that time, his thing was bringing the Christians together in the community. So we did singing a lot of white churches at that time. He made us, made sure that he made that available to us, and we sang at the malls and all of that when we was with him. And so yes. We did notice in singing some of the white churches that our gospel music, we sing the mics and so forth, is a lot louder.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And when you sing in the white churches, you have to tone it down a little bit, or most of the time I think they tone it down because they want to make sure that you don't blow up their instruments. Right. But yes, it's a little different, but it's still all good.
Right, yeah. It's art still. I am interested in your process of writing a song. Where does the inspiration come from? Is there a certain event that leads you to write a song, or when do you know you have to write one?
When I first started writing, because one thing about it, you can sing, but a lot of singers don't write, so that's another gift. Right. That's the best way to put it, that it's a gift from God. And when he give you those words, it is to inspire, to uplift, or to encourage somebody. Like I've been singing this song called Hold On for years. And I wrote that, I'm talking when I first started to write, and I was a teen then. And I've been writing, that song is still, it's because of the words. I think you mentioned it. The words, just hold on. There's so many people that's going through. Yeah. And believe me, it's not just Black. Everybody's going through something. And so those words are to encourage you to just hold on when you're going through, because there's a scripture that I love that says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. So if you can just hold on, so many people commit suicide and all of that when they're going through some trials and tests. But if they could just hold on to the next day, God will send something would happen, to change everything. Right. So if you can just hold on. So yes, he wanted me to encourage the people of God. So that's why he started letting me write songs. And I thank God for that gift.
Right.
Yes.
And I mean, I know you had mentioned that sometimes it even comes at night, right? Where an idea pops up.
Well, what I was saying was when I first started writing, I would be sometimes sleep in my sleep. And the Lord would wake me up. And I would be hearing it in my spirit. And of course, I'd have the song, the words, I'd have the melody, all of that. And so what I would do is, at first I used to just keep sleeping. I said, I'll get it tomorrow. Then when tomorrow would come, I would forget. So I learned to, when it came to me in my sleep, to get up and start writing it down and hope that I could still remember the melody the next day.
Right.
But usually when I did write it down and to continue to work with it, it would come to me. So yes, I have a lot of songs that I received in my sleep, and that's how I knew. You know, when that happens, hey, this is something God wants you to do. This is a gift. This is a gift from God. So I started a whole lot of songs writing in my sleep.
Right. It definitely sounds like it comes from another plane of reality.
Exactly.
Completely. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, you guys, we will be going on a quick break, but do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Support for KAMU comes from the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts at Texas A&M University, bringing innovative and culturally diverse visual and performing arts programming to Texas A&M University and the Brazos Valley. The Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts fosters the creativity of our community via the transformative power of the arts.
Like I had mentioned, it's Black History Month, so I do want to tie it back to the African American people. Why do you think gospel music is so important to your community?
Well, like I said, it brought us through some things. You know, when we were going through a lot, you know what we go. Even from the slavery time and all of that, the singing, they would get together and they would sing because that's all they could do.
Right.
But God would visit with them and visit with their spirits, and it kept them encouraged and, to go a little bit farther and to keep pushing. And so that's why, I think that music means a lot to us. It was coming from the heart. It comes from the heart. And it just works all the way up to the spirit and to the soul. And so it does. It's so encouraging. So, yes, very important to us because we've gone through a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that, some of the inspiration for gospel came from also spirituals, and that even specific spirituals were used to communicate amongst different groups,
Exactly.
right?
Old hymnals. Back in the day, they had the hymnals, but it kept them going and kept them encouraged.
Right.
So, yes, gospel music is... Oh, yeah, it has brought us a long way.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to continue to take us, because it's God's music.
Right.
That's what it is. It's coming from God, so, yeah, it's encouraging. I love it. I can say that again,
Oh, yeah, that's very evident with all of your accomplishments. It's very evident that you love gospel music. And I'm wondering, how do you see gospel evolving? How is it being applied to modern times?
Well, it's up to date. I mean, you have so many artists now that we started out with traditionals. We have so many different genres, contemporary, and we have an urban contemporary, which is more closer to the R&B. And we even have, I think you said you wasn't familiar with the hip-hop gospel.
Right, yeah. I was
Yes, we have the hip-hop gospel, which is to reach the young people. And my son, of course, my family is musically inclined.
Right.
And my son, he started out in hip-hop. But the message wasn't a good message, I don't think, for the young people. But his message later it came out. The first song I think that he did was very popular. It was called I Pull My Pants Up. You know how everybody's the sagging with the pants.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pull your pants up. We going to church, And it was very inspirational. I remember some kids, we were going through the projects over on the east side of town, and it was a whole train of kids that was just marching and singing, and they were singing that song, I'm going to church, I pull my pants up, I'm going to church, So it
that sounds like a good one.
It was. And then the older folk liked it as well. That's one thing about his ministry that I loved was the fact that a lot of hip-hop is so fast. You can't. And then I used to tell them when I did workshops, and I did a couple of workshops where there was hip-hoppers there, and I would tell them, listen, y'all tone your music down just a little bit, because what happened, they couldn't understand why it wasn't received well in the church, but it was received well out in the streets. So I was letting them know that it's just a difference with the church. You got to tone it down a little bit because most of the church is older folks sometimes.
Right.
And so when you boom, 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 it just kind of, oh my.
Yeah.
But just tone it down a little bit and make sure the words are good and understood,
Right.
so they can understand that it's the message. And so he had my son Punching had a good message. And that's what the older folks say. I don't like all of it, but I love Punching. So I thank God for that.
I mean, that's a great strategy even to get younger people interested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it did work well for the young people. And he has a little daughter now that's called Journey. And she's 9 years old, and she's already doing it. She's
really?
that girl Journey from Houston, Texas. And being received very well.
Awesome. Well, that'll be fourth generation
Yes.
musician.
Uh-huh.
Amazing. I mean, I know that for me, I'm a singer myself, so I love watching people sing. And I've seen a lot of really great gospel singers on TikTok, even.
Oh,
that has
yes.
exposed me to a lot of different singers. So, I mean, I just think it's growing. Gospel music is growing a lot.
It is growing. It's definitely growing. It definitely is. And we thank God for that.
I mean, I know now you're managing Twins and Friends. They
Right.
just released their newest album, The Big Return.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Twins and Friends and who they are to you?
Okay, well, Twins and Friends, two of the young ladies, Sherika and Erica, those are my daughters, twin daughters, and they've been singing ever since they were 7 years old. They started with me. We were called Gloria, Twins, and Friends. And so my friends, the Twins and Friends, after I decided to retire myself, and I made it a youth group because once they became teens, they had a little different style. I felt like they wanted to, go out and reach more young people.
Right.
So I kind of let them go ahead and go forward. And they sang for a while, and then they stopped. And my daughter still continued as just Twins. But back to Twins and Friends, they hadn't sang in maybe about 20 years. And so I had an anniversary service that was back in May, and I had them to come in to sing. And so when they came and sang that fever, I guess they got that fever.
Yeah.
So they were saying, hey, we want to sing, So I said, well, that's wonderful. So let's do this. So they all came back together. And in October, we did our CD release and our comeback concert in October of 23. And so we've been doing it ever since. We decided to come together, do a CD. Our musicians that play for us now is Jesse Wortham, and he has his brothers and so forth that play with them. But they did our CD, and they play our music.
Right. I mean, I know that also Twins and Friends is going to be recognized on
Yes,
a certain
thank
scale.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This February, the 15th through the 18th, we're going down to Houston, Texas, to the Marriott Hobby Hotel for the Texas Gospel Music Excellence Awards.
Oh, wow.
And we all have won a lot of awards through the Texas Music Awards. And this year, the Twins will be receiving the Trailblazer Award.
Wow.
Because they have been in this thing for 32 years. Again, they started at age 7, and they have been consistent in the ministry. So they're going to be receiving Trailblazer Awards. It's going to be at the luncheon, which will be at 1 o'clock. That's Saturday, the 17th. And then also we will also be singing at the awards.
That's amazing. I mean, I encourage everyone to support what Gloria is doing. And we will be listening to some songs from the new album, The Big Return from Twins and Friends. But before we get to that, I wanted you to remind the audience where they can find you, your social media, or any upcoming shows that you will have.
Okay. Well, I don't have Instagram, but I do have a Facebook page. And they can go to Gloria Cooks. I have a Facebook page, Gloria Cooks, and then I have another one for the Gloria Cooks Gospel Show page.
Okay.
So I have both of those pages, and they can go to those pages anytime. Hook me up on Facebook, Gloria Cooks.
Yeah.
And also, let me just mention that if there are any artists that's interested, independent gospel artists that's interested in appearing on my Gloria Cooks Gospel Show, we'd like for you to hook me up, get in touch with me, and we would love to show you on the show. I started out, my son does my show. He produces it. And so what we do, a lot of times he download from YouTube a lot of the artists, and most of them are the major professional artists. And of course, it makes for a real good show.
Oh, yes.
But I wanted to support and promote more independent artists because these are the artists that's striving and struggling to get where those artists are.
Right.
So I want to support those artists. So if there's an independent artist out there that's listening and they desire to be on the Gloria Cooks Gospel Show, we go into over 1,200 homes in the Brazos Valley and the Central Texas areas. Wow. And we also, we've been there now for 13 years, 12 years. Wow. So we've reached a lot of audiences, nursing homes, hospitals. Lady called me the other day. Well, she texted me and let me know that her son said he works for the Waco Detention Center. And on Sunday mornings, the Gloria Cook Show is all over that center.
Really?
And those guys are having fun. They're praising God.
Oh, yeah.
They are, and so that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. We want to reach the people. We want to inspire, uplift, and encourage. Right. So if these artists are interested, just send their video to my son, Pontaneous@yahoo.com. Okay. That's where they send it, and he can approve it, make sure that it's good quality. Pontaneous@yahoo.com. Then they can text me, Gloria Cooks, at 979-219-7788.
Perfect.
They can text me, and then I'll give them further information as to what to do.
Mm-hmm. I love that you're even helping other groups that are still trying to get on their feet.
That's
I
my
think
goal.
That's so special. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for stopping by and teaching me about your art of gospel music.
Yes, I've enjoyed it.
Alrighty, now we will be listening to an excerpt of one of the songs in Twins and Friends' new album, The Big Return. This is Hold On, written by Gloria Cooks herself.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Jesus will
make it all right.
All you have to do is just hold on.
Hold on.
Jesus will
make it all right.
Hold on, my sisters.
Hold on.
Jesus will
make it all right.
Hold on, my brothers. Yeah.
Hold on.
Jesus will. Yes, he will. Yeah. Through sickness and disappointments, through your heartaches and your pain, if you can just hold on,
Hold on.
Jesus will.
Make it all right.
Through your trials and tribulations, your labor won't be in vain if you can just hold on, church.
Hold on.
Jesus will. Yes, he will. Yeah. Don't you give up the fight, because you can make it through the night if you can just hold on. Yeah, yeah. Jesus will. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Hold on.
Hold on.
Jesus will. Yes, he will. Yeah. This road is seldom easy, but if you can make it through the hard times, sooner or later the storm will be over and the sun will surely shine. If you can just hold on, saints.
Hold on.
Jesus will. Yes, he will. Just hold on if you would, saints. Hold on. Yeah. Jesus will. Yes, he will. Yeah. Can you help me out, Sherika? Through sickness and disappointment, say, child,
Heartaches and pain, if you just hold on.
Jesus will. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Say,
Through trials and tribulations, your labor won't be in vain if you just hold.
I'm Hector Nino, and you've been listening to The Heart of Art, a production of 90.9 KAMU FM. You can find all of our shows anytime at kamu.tamu.edu.
The Heart of Art is brought to you by the Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts at Texas A&M University, bringing innovative and culturally diverse visual and performing arts programming to Texas A&M University and the Brazos Valley. The Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts fosters the creativity of our community via the transformative power of the arts. The Heart of Art is sponsored in part by the Texas A&M University Art Galleries, which includes the Stark and Forsyth Galleries located inside the MSC. The galleries provide a variety of opportunities to experience art exhibitions, events, and hands-on activities. More information at uart.tamu.edu.